Yeah, reactive dogs. Quick video on reactive dogs, hoping it may just help you. It's one of the biggest things I get asked about. One of the most common issues I get called in to help people with as a trainer. So I'm hoping if we go through some of the common mistakes that people make and some of the things you can do to help, it may help you on your journey. First thing, just a caveat that I always put out there at week 1 is please get your dog's vet checked. That's a full vet check. That is not the same as a quick checkup. Taking your dog for a checkup is not the same thing as that full vet check. Get the bloods done, get the vet to manipulate limbs and make sure everything's working okay. Get a full checkup. No amount of training is going to help you or your dog if you find out months or years down the line that there's an underlying medical issue which is causing that behaviour. So it's so important you start off with a healthy dog before you start any training. Next thing, I get the frustration, I know it's hard, but please stop telling your dogs off for reacting. They struggle in the environment sometimes, and much like with your friends, if it was a friend having a panic attack or having a really hard time in certain social situations, you would have a lot of empathy for them. You would take them home, run them a bath, pour them a glass of wine, cancel all of your plans for that evening, and there'd be a lot of sympathy for your human friends. But I think when it's our dogs, we don't always have that same understanding of what's going on. They're not being naughty, they're not doing that because they're bad dogs or they're untrained or they're misbehaving. They're struggling in that social situation. They're scared, they're anxious, they're nervous, they're having almost a bit of a panic attack when they're out and they see things that worry them and they don't know how to cope. The worst thing in the world that we can do as owners is to tell them off for that. Imagine just being told to just stop being anxious, just stop being scared. Even worse for the dog is that the person they love most in the world, their human, starts yanking on the lead or tapping them on the nose or shouting at them, squirting things in their face. It's just ridiculous. Third thing to remember is what else may be going on in your dog's world that is playing a part in how they're behaving when they're outside. I think we sometimes don't think of that as being a thing. I use the phrase quite a lot, I'm a bit of a detective. People call me in for these consultations because of the way their dog is behaving outside. Their dog is barking, lunging, spinning on the lead or doing whatever they're doing. And they're not paying much consideration or giving too much thought as to what else is causing those stress levels to build up and is making our dogs behave in that way. Quick geeky science lesson. Every time we're stressed, humans, dogs, all of us, there's no training for it, there's no control. Our brain just produces that chemical, that cortisol, and it just fills up our, imagine we've got a little bottle inside us and it just fills up our stress levels, fills up our bottle. So we've all been there as humans, we've all had those rubbish weeks. Maybe the car doesn't start on the Monday, you burn your dinner on a Tuesday, you have a row with your partner on the Wednesday. Lots of things happen. We've all had those rubbish weeks that by the time Friday comes, our stress levels have built up and up and up. Maybe you just snap the top of your fingernail, but it's that last silly, trivial little thing that produces that last drip of that cortisol that makes you explode and you freak out. Same thing with our dogs. If they're having frequent, often, regular exposure to stress, then their bottle is filling up and staying full. Quite often that's what's happening with the dogs, it's staying full. It takes a good couple of days for that cortisol to start draining away and up to 3 weeks to totally leave the body. So other things that are happening in your dog's world that aren't even relevant to you quite often as an owner, you haven't called your behaviourist out because you're worried about your dog barking in the back garden chasing birds away, or because they bark at people walking past the front of the house or adverts on the telly. All of those things to you are probably not really a big deal, but to your dog, if it's producing those stress levels, it's playing a part in how they're behaving when they go out because you're taking them out for a walk ready to explode. Whereas so quite often people will say to me, sometimes he'll walk past other dogs and he's fine, and then another day he has a really bad walk and really reacts, and we can't figure out what's going on. It's not male dogs, it's not black dogs, what's happening? It seems really weird. Quite often it'll be what's happened in the week or so beforehand and how full their bottle is. If you've had a particularly quiet week and the postman hasn't been and you've not had the pizza man knock in and you've not had people walking past your house, then maybe your dog's stress levels are a little bit lower, so when they go out for their walk they're not ready to explode. Maybe on another occasion you've had lots of people walking past your house, maybe you've had lots of visitors round and a couple of pizzas, or whatever your thing is for your dog. So then when you take that dog out for a walk, their stress levels are up here and they're ready to explode. So yeah, in order for your training to be more successful, this doesn't fix everything. That's not how you fix the reactivity. But we need to. The emotional state of the dog is so vital when we're working with reactivity. You need to get all the stress back down and get a little bit of calm back in the whole dog, the well-being of the dog before we start any training. So getting that emotional balance right and getting them less stressed, it's far more successful to take a dog out to do training that's not ready to explode. If you're taking them down when they're a little bit more chilled and relaxed, your training is going to be more successful. So yeah, thinking of the bigger picture, what else you can do. On the slide coming up after this, there's an imaginary dog, just one that I've made up, with some little things on there. So I think there's like a trip to the vet. Throwing the ball is a really common one. Lots of dogs love to play fetch and play ball, but there's a fine line between a dog that has a nice couple of goes of fetch and then that dog that needs you to throw it again, and you're tipping over that balance between what's a nice healthy activity to becoming a I need more. So again, much like when you get home from work, if you need a glass of wine after your stressful day at work, that's probably okay, but if you need a whole bottle before you can relax, well, then you're tipping into dangerous territory. So the same for your dog. I'm not saying don't throw ball with your dog and don't play with your dog, but keep it as a nice healthy balance. A good couple of goes is good, but if your dog is that dog that, come on, I need more, you're not helping. It's having the counter opposite effect from what you probably think you're doing. So yeah, what I'd like you to do, have a look at the slide that's coming up with the other examples, kind of think outside the box. This is level 1 stuff, so I'm trying to, normally these consultations would be an hour and a half, sometimes more sometimes. I'm trying to get this video down to about 5 or 6 minutes if I can, just to give you the level 1, how we start off helping reactive dogs. And the first thing is you've got to get that emotional state right first. So you've got to drain all the stress levels down and then be very conscious of it throughout your training. Anything that happens in the meantime, you don't just drain your dog's stress levels once and that's it. It's ongoing. It's when you own a reactive dog, it changes your life. It's constant management. So yeah, have a look, have a think your challenge, have a think outside the box and think what else may be playing a part in your dog's world into why they may be reacting outside, and what you can do around the home or in other environments to help bring their stress levels down before and then you start your training. It's going to help. Okay. Take it away and offer it again. Yeah. Oh, nearly. Take it away. Good. Good boy. Good boy.
lip licks.
So yeah, if you have any questions, any comments, anything you want to discuss, leave comments at the bottom or drop me an email, info.hairypoppins@gmail.com. I will try to answer all of them over the next few days or whenever you watch. But yeah, do keep in touch and drop me some messages. Okay,